Hello everyone, and welcome to Volusia Reads Stream, which stands for Science, Technology, Reading, Engineering, Art, and Math. I'm Miss Laura from the Volusia County Public Library, and I'm so glad you're here with me today because I have a fun and simple activity for us to do. It's a game, so I hope you play along. It's called Float or Sink. And you can probably guess what we're going to do just based on the name of the activity, but I'm going to drop objects into this water, things like this, a pool float, and you're going to guess whether it will float at the top or sink to the bottom. I want you to make a prediction. So, for example, do you think this float will float or sink? Let's see. You're right, it floats. But to make this even more of a game, when you think it's going to float, I want you to get a little bit active. Don't just sit here and say it or think it. I want you to stand up if you think it's going to float. And I want you to sit down if you think it's going to sink. But to make it even more of a game, you could jump up high, spread your arms out if you think it's going to float. And then if you think it's going to sink slowly all the way to the ground. Whatever you do, just have fun with it. And so let's get started. I think we should do something a little harder than a float. Let's see. What about a spoon? Do you think this plastic spoon will float or sink? Let's see. What's your prediction? It's floating, but what about this spoon? Do you think it will do something different? It's metal, it's made of a different material. Will it float or sink? Let's see. It sinks. It kind of spun a little bit. Well, what about a rock? You may think you know automatically what will this will do, but let's see. Will it float or sink? It sinks very quickly. What about a shell? Will a shell float or sink? What do you think? Will it do the same thing as a rock or something different? It sinks just as quickly, but it has a little bit more bubbles, which was fun. What about a toothbrush? Will a toothbrush float or sink? Oh, I thought it was gonna sink, but it floats. What about a different toothbrush? A giant toothbrush. Do you think it will float or sink? Let's see. I thought it was going to float, but it sunk slowly down to the bottom. What about a pencil? Floats. What about a giant pencil? It floats. That one kind of surprised me. What about a bottle of glue? It's filled almost to the top. Only about that much is left at the top. Let's see what happens. I thought it was going to sink because it went all the way to the bottom. But then it popped right back up and it's floating. Do you see? But what if we had another bottle of glue? And this time, there's only a little bit of glue left at the bottom. Let's see. The rest of it's air. It just popped right up on the top and floats. Well, what about a googly eye? A really big googly eye. Floats. What about a trophy? Let's see. Oh my goodness. It sinks. What about a chicken? Floats very calmly. What about a marble? Ooh, sinks really fast. Ping pong ball. What about this one? What about a baseball? Let's see. I thought that one would sink, but I was wrong. But what about a basketball? Last one. Do you think this will float or sink? Let's see. It floats and makes a little bit of a splash. Well, thanks for playing along with me. I hope you enjoyed this activity as we decided whether something would float or sink, and then we got to see if our prediction was right. Well, I encourage you to do other activities like this that help you make predictions and then see what happens. I also encourage you to go to your local library and check out wonderful books, especially books about the water and about things like this. This would be buoyancy, displacement, density. I encourage you to look for books that will explain these topics and let you learn a lot more about science. I also encourage you to go to volusialibrary.org/kids and check out all of our wonderful digital resources. There are lots of things that can help you learn more about the stream concepts and also just have a lot of fun as you go. I also encourage you to tune again for another Volusia Reads stream. We love spending this time with you, so I hope to see you again next time. Goodbye.